Good afternoon, YouTube. Casual Tommy. On my way home from the dentist. The scary dentist. I'm going to make a quick video today talking about how I got into watches. How I was bitten by the bug of watch collecting. Well, it's more about a life change than it was about getting into the hobby of watches specifically. There were a lot of changes happening in my life at the same time. You could say I had a change of attitude towards life. I was a musician. I never had many aspirations outside of music. I wasn't career driven. I didn't have a career. I was working part-time, labouring jobs in between jam sessions and tours and gigs. And I never really thought that it was possible for me to better myself. I did, but in other areas. My priorities changed. I had a big priority shift in my life around 21. Which is where I was inspired by some friends doing well. I had a friend in a similar situation as me, quite a depressing situation, and he turned it all around. He went and did a TAFE course and used that as his equivalency to say he finished high school. Then he went to university and did a criminology degree, and I was watching him do all this. And a lot of people will react to that negatively, but I'm not like that. I get inspired by the success of the people around me. Seeing people around me that I care about happy means a lot to me. So I had a change of attitude towards life. I was inspired by my friends doing well and bettering themselves. Seeing one of your peers do something drastic, make a change for the better, was very inspirational for me. And like my friend, study changed my life. I went and started doing business courses, business degrees, got into university, got a high school equivalency through studying business. It really did change my life. It changed the trajectory I saw. I always saw the trajectory that was in front of me, and I was sticking on going. I was on course. And then I started to realise that as soon as you change the destination, your path will change as well. And that definitely worked for me. So I had a professor in the very early days of me making these changes. He said to me that one of his motivations for continuing to expand himself and develop his career were watches. One of the things that drove him to keep going was his obsession with collecting watches. I didn't know anything about watches. God, I don't remember what he had or anything like that. Speaking of what we had, quick wristwatch check. I'm wearing my SKX. Thought I'd give it a spin, see how it holds up at the dentist. Used the bezel to time how long I actually sat in the chair. It was an hour and 5 minutes, if you're interested. And yeah, my professor told me that every businessman needs a good watch. I think he might have been a bit materialistic in his perspective, which is fine. That is the reality of some people in their situations, but that was his reality. And I'm pretty sure that night I went out and bought a Seiko 5. It was bought a little Seiko 5. I wish I could remember the serial. I still have it, and I still wear it. It's in rotation. It never leaves my watch box. I didn't know anything about it. I just saw that. I knew that Seiko was a good brand because my girlfriend at the time was working in a jewellery store. So I went out and bought a Seiko 5 from iOffer. it's like AliExpress. It's a website that effectively sells fake everything, and I somehow got a real Seiko 5. I was quite lucky. It's a little dress piece, 36mm. I love it actually. It's quite a nice piece. Beautiful textured dial. Gorgeous little watch actually. I went from there to buy a few fashion brands because I was not into horology or watch collecting at that point. It was just the obsession was in its infancy with me. And then I progressed from there, to today where I just bought a gold Omega for me to wear to work. I'll give an update on that soon when it arrives. That's pretty much it. That's how I got into watches. It was all about me making some drastic lifestyle changes and starting to set goals for myself, and more the realization around the fact that I can achieve goals. That was a huge turning point for me. And along the way, one of the important people along the way that inspired me was obsessed with watches. And we all know how contagious this hobby can be. So he got me into watch collecting. I bought my first Seiko 5, seeing that open case back, oh mate, seeing the rotor turn as I shook it, that really was a life-changing experience. So tell me, how did you get into watches? Let me know. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. I'm starting to build up a bit of a backlog. Now it's time to get some views, so if you know someone that would like this video, please share it with them and just tell me your story. This channel is really about me telling my watch collecting story, about my experiences, and I mainly want to know yours. I want to be involved in the community, and I know that talking to this camera actually feels quite good, so I know there is a watch vlogging community out there. So please let me know your experiences down below. Catch you in the next one.